Well, good early evening, everybody, and welcome to the West Ham Daily live 5 o'clock. Not even time for the evening news. That comes on at 6, doesn't it, normally? So I'm a bit early for that, but then I've got other things I have to do tonight. So I thought I'd come on a little bit earlier and give you a bit of news, something that I read earlier. Which I found quite interesting. Now, I wanna address something because I've been accused of often making clickbait comments and stuff like that. So, Robert, I really thank you for highlighting it because I'm going to say this from the off. When we and I'm not having a go at you, Robert, I'm just saying in general, when we look at stories to give you on the West Ham network, things like transfer stories, stories about players, the team, and all that sort of stuff, we tend to want to, we tend to sort of find it on some kind of website or social media channel, etc. So I just want to clarify this story about Declan. I haven't made it up. Okay. It's come from a website called the West Ham Zone, and they are quoting The Athletic. So blame them. Don't blame me. Blame them. I found it. It came out something like lunchtime today, and I thought, well, no one else has mentioned this. So is there any truth in it? And I thought, and I was waiting to see if anybody else was going to follow up with the story, and nothing. Just this one website, the West Ham Zone, who are quoting the Athletic. Now, I'm going to read to you what this whole thing about Declan and what's been said. So, if you give me a moment, I'll just look that up. It says West Ham ace Declan Rice remains a doubt for the Wolves clash. Declan Rice is still a doubt for the West Ham v Wolves game on Saturday, according to a report in The Athletic. This is on the West Ham Zone website. The 22-year-old, as we all know, had to pull out of the England squad during the international break because of illness, and there's still a question mark around his availability. Rice has played every minute of every Premier League game for the Hammers this season. Big blow. The Englishman has been West Ham's best player this season, despite Mikel Antonio's exploits. Rice's absence will be felt more. David Moyes has asked Rice to play slightly advanced this term, and he's done a phenomenal job. He's managed to link up well with the attackers, and more importantly, has known when to surge forward and when to hold his position. Without Rice, a player labelled by Gareth Southgate as outstanding in the team, the Hammers' midfield balance will get affected, and that could see Wolves play right through them. Bruno Lage's side had been easy on the eye and have been very quick on the transition. Having Rice gives West Ham a better chance to win, and all eyes will be on David Moyes' press conference to see whether or not he'll be fit for the game. So, just to clarify, I don't make these stories up. I get them from the website. But what will happen if Declan is not available? What will David Moyes do? I mean, David Moyes, the last thing he's going to do in his presser is tell us Declan's out. Highly, highly unlikely. So we'll all be sitting there anticipating David Moyes' press conference, and I guarantee you he won't say anything about Declan being available or not available. He'll talk about Ogbonna because we can't, we know that Ogbonna's out, and he can't hide that one. But I don't think he's going to give the game away and suggest to anybody in his press conference that Declan Rice is not available for the game. So please, people, as I always keep telling you, and I do sincerely mean it when we talk about stories and transfers and all that sort of stuff, take everything with a large pinch of salt. But what I'm going to do is not sort of talk about is he or isn't he available? It's what if he isn't available? And I think David Moyes has got a couple of options. Now, I looked at what happened last season. If you recall, Declan missed 6 games last season because of injury. And ironically, the first game of that run of 6 that he missed was the away game against Wolves when we narrowly beat them 3-2. I'll read that later. Where we narrowly beat them 3-2. Now, when I say narrowly, it's because they sort of got back into the game and they pulled a couple of goals back, and not that we were hanging on, but they kind of, they were back in the game. Then, of course, we played Leicester, Newcastle, Chelsea, Burnley, and Everton in that run of 6 games. Now, of those 6 games, I just want to check. Can you actually hear me? Because I always get a bit nervous. Um, yeah, it looks like you can. So I'm going to just carry on. So of those 6 games, we won 3 and we lost 3. Now, who replaced Declan during those 6 games? Well, I guess we had fewer options last season, didn't we? We kind of relied on Captain Fantastic Mark Noble to sort of step in more often than we should have done. And lo and behold, he did that in the first 4 games of that run. So in the game against Wolves, Noble started. We won that game. In the game against Leicester, Noble started again, and we won that game. And the game against Newcastle, Noble started, and we were defeated. But then, of course, we had Craig Dawson sent off. And then in the game against Chelsea, Noble was the starter for that. But Lanzini came on later in the game for Noble, and it was a game that we lost again. And that was that again narrow defeat. Balbuena being sent off, rather than a bizarre sort of sending off. And then in the last 2 games, we won against Burnley, and Lanzini started. And I'm sure you all remember he had an excellent game playing a deep lying role in alongside Thomas Soucek. And then, of course, the Everton game again, Lanzini started, and unfortunately, he was injured at half time, and we lost that game 1-0. So, will it be Captain Fantastic again? If Declan is not available, will Mark Noble be the person that David Moyes decides to utilise? Um, we know the experience he has, etc. We know what he can offer. We know, he's a talisman for West Ham. But a lot of people will say there are times when he may be used a little bit too often, and there are certain games that maybe suit him and other games that don't suit him. Now, will the game against Wolves suit him? Well, I don't know. We've got to consider what type of team that Wolves will put out. They might play with a 3-5-2 or a 3-5-1-1. And if they do that, we might be outnumbered in midfield, and that's sometimes where Mark Noble can sometimes get caught out when there are too many players in that middle of the park. Sometimes not no disrespect to him, but that's where he might be lacking a bit. But also, would that suit Lanzini? Will that suit a type of game for Lanzini? Again, Lanzini, great the way he played when he did play that deep lying role, but he had time. He had time and space to be able to pick the ball up from deep. And then we've got an alternative. I mean, if it's not Lanzini, who let's not deny he can play that role well, but like I just said, when he has the opportunity, when he's got time to play, he can dictate the game, etc. That's quite good. But then we've got an alternative, haven't we, now this season, where what we didn't have last season, and that's Alex Kroll. Now, it's been an odd one with Alex Kroll because we haven't quite seen enough of him this season to sort of determine whether he can actually do that role as well as Soucek and Declan. But that's what he is. Of the 3 options between Mark Noble, between Manuel Lanzini, and Kroll himself. He is the defensive-minded midfielder, and if we are going to be facing, say, a 3-5-2 formation, Wolves, then maybe Moyes might decide, well, it'll be a better option to go for a defensive-minded midfielder that will play alongside Soucek, as opposed to giving it to Lanzini or giving it to Noble. I think everyone will have a view. I think everyone will have a favourite. Some will say, well, the experience of Mark Noble speaks volumes, and maybe that's who we should be going for. Others will be saying Lanzini, he can dictate the game, etc. But do we want to see Alex Kroll? Would this be the time if Declan is not available? Will this be Kroll's time to demonstrate what he's capable of, and maybe show the West Ham faithful that maybe he can be part of not only that the current West Ham squad, which he is, but not enough game time, or whether he'll be actually part of West Ham in the future as well. Now we know he's only on loan from Sparta Prague. He's only played literally 5 minutes in the Europa League this season. For some reason, I thought he played longer, but I'm surprised when I checked the stats. Now, do correct me if I'm wrong, because I checked and double checked. He played only a bit part in one of the games against in the Europa League, and he played the whole 90 minutes in the Carabao Cup against Man United. Now. He's recently been out of the squad as well because of COVID, but he's back. And he's recently played in the last two internationals for the Czech Republic. 29 minutes as a sub in the 7-0 friendly against Kuwait. And then he played the first hour of the World Cup qualifying game that they won 2-0 against Estonia only on Tuesday. So is this Kral's time? Will it be time for him to start demonstrating what he can do for West Ham United? I'd like to see him play. Um, is it a game that maybe he could handle? Look, we're not going to know until he's in there. Of the three choices, do I have a preference? Mark Noble, as I've said, he's a fantastic player. He's been a great servant to West Ham United, but is he the right player to step in for West Ham in this game? Lanzini, love him, absolutely. Great display against at Burnley last season when he was asked to step into that role. I can see him doing it, but like I said, does that mean we're going to have to sort of pack out the midfield in order to award him the time to play the game that he can play from a deep line role? Or is it time for Alex Kroll to step in and say, it's my time, I can show you what I can do? I'm sure David Moyes would have been given reports about how Kroll performed for the Czech Republic over the last two games and during the international break, and Moyes can sort of make his decision as well. We know that Thomas Soucek has been rested, so he will be absolutely fine for the game against Wolves. It's just a matter of, as I've said earlier, if Declan is going to be available or not. Now, let me reiterate, people, I haven't made this story up. As I've said earlier, for those of you joining late, I picked this story up. I know people talk about clickbait, and I've been sort of jokingly or not jokingly accused of clickbait titles in the past. But just to reiterate, this is a story I picked up earlier today, and I was looking to see if it was going to be picked up anywhere else, and it's only appeared on the one website, as I said, on the West Ham Zone. But they, in credit to them, have been quoting another website, The Athletic, to say that they don't believe Declan will be available for the game due to illness. So don't shoot the messenger. Go and talk to the West Ham Zone, or if you want, go and talk to The Athletic about it. Right. So whilst we're on, it's not going to be a preview of the game coming up. But there are a couple of other choices that David Moyes is going to have to make this weekend. Of course, we know that Ogbonna is out, and we still don't have any updates, I'm afraid. It looks like David Moyes has just shut down shop, and we're not going to hear anything about him at all. So it's going to be a choice of what he does. Does he go for Craig Dawson? Excuse me, I'm going to take a sip of my tea. Does he go for Craig Dawson? Will he ask him to step in as he's done? He's kind of seems to be always be, if Zuma or Ogbonna aren't available, it always seems to be in the Premier League, Dawson that will step in. Or will it be time for Issa Diop to step into the Premier League side this weekend as well? Now we know that Wolves have got talent. For example, Ruben Neves in midfield, he can dictate a game, and of course Juan He Chan of Wolves, decent player. He's had 4 chances this season on target, and he's scored 4 goals. Him alongside Jimenez. Jimenez is still not back to his best, but Juan He Chan has been quite decent for them. So, which one of those defenders is Moyes going to think is going to be better suited to sort of address their talents? I think Moyes is going to go to type, and I think he's going to choose Dawson. But you guys tell me what you think as well. And finally, he'll have another choice to make, won't he? He's got his two first choice right backs available. As we know, Vladimir Sufal, he was captain the Czech Republic team on Tuesday in the 2-0 win against Estonia. He's back. He was back. He was back on as a sub as well for the last West Ham game too. But then, of course, we've got young Ben Johnson, who has been absolutely superb. In the right back slot, and I think we haven't lost a game. I think 8 games or something that we haven't lost since Johnson came in. So, I mean, again, it's down to who can manage the formation of Wolves. Who will be better suited? Do you have the more experience, Sufal in there, to sort of give that sort of that I don't know what you want to say, a bit more solidity to the defence, or do you go for Johnson? I mean, we talk about solidity. If we haven't lost in the last 8 games because of this young lad being in the team, do you stick with him and do you play him? Now, I think again, Moyes goes for type, reverts to type, and I think again, he'll probably go for Johnson, because once you prove yourself for David Moyes, the one thing he does is he keeps you in the team. So let me just recap, people, yet again, for anyone joining even later. There's been a rumor that Mr. Rice will not be available for the game on Saturday against Wolves because of his illness, and it's been suggested that he may not be back in time. He may not be fit enough, and so on. So I've asked you, who do you think will replace him? Will David Moyes go for the tried and tested Mark Noble, or will he go for Lanzini playing a deeper midfield role, or will he give Kral an opportunity to demonstrate his worth in the first team finally in the Premier League? And then, of course, in defence, central defence, we know Ogbonna is out injured. So will he go again for the tried and tested Craig Dawson, or will we see Diop play alongside Kurt Zuma in central defence? And then finally, on the right back slot, he's got 2 great right backs to choose from. Ben Johnson, the young pretender. Well, no longer a pretender, is he really? Because he's really shine. He's really shone in the last few games. Or will he go back and start and bring back Vladimir Sufal in the team? Right. Let's go in the chat and let's see who's there, and we'll see what you guys have to say. I'll scroll all the way to the top. Right. So, Robert, I hope I've answered that question, mate. Is it clickbait at its finest? You tell me. I don't know. Simon Rogers, hello, West Ham family. Hello to you, mate. Thank you for joining. Scott, good evening to you. Declan is fine. He was pictured getting his Barnet cut. You can be injured and still get your Barnet cut, mate. No, actually, if you're not well, you're not getting your Barnet cut. You're right. Vinay, is it Steliochenko? It sure is. And I was on time, wasn't I? Bloody hell. Robert, can't find any news that Rice is out. What's the source? I hope I've given that to you, Robert. Go and have a go at them. Don't have a go at me. Go and have a go at them. Go on. Go to the Athletic. Go to West Ham Zone and say, what's this nonsense? I heard that Stelios talking about you and he quoted you. Who else we got? Neil, good evening to you. Good morning to you. 3:33 in the morning, Neil. 3:33 a.m. in the morning. Mate, I hope you're well. Good evening, Adam. How are you, mate? Gaza, how are you? I hope you're well. Daniela, there is nothing on BBC Sport or West Ham website. No, there wouldn't be. I did say. Steve, hello, mate. Evening on. I ain't heard nothing about. That's it. I'm glad you've all heard nothing about him. So you can go and have a go at the Athletic and the West Ham Zone. There you go. Scott, I reckon it's come from the Sun newspaper. I don't know. I don't read the Athletic, to be quite honest with you, so I don't know how bad it is, to be honest. Steve, just like transfers, don't believe rumours. The Athletic. There you go. Robert, don't believe all you read. Yeah, exactly. And I hope I've kind of like made that clear that I'm not saying I believe it. I think Declan will be fine, to be quite honest with you. But it gave me an opportunity to speculate. If he's not, who's going to step in for him? So on speculation, who might step in for him? Let's speculate in that way. Hammerhead, good evening to you. No, there isn't a question mark. He had a very heavy cold over 2 weeks ago. He's more than fine now. Gaza, I hope I've answered what's going on with Declan. Steve, it's just to get fans to panic and get the athletic hits. It's bollocks. There you go. And there's your answer. Adam, everyone has said Declan is fit, as all other sites said he's fit for the game. And even I said in yesterday's show that Declan is fit. So it was quite intriguing that out of the blue, it's like, and like I said, I was waiting. It came out about midday, and I was waiting. I thought someone else is going to pick this up, and like up to now, that's the only story. That's the only page I've seen that's quoted it. Tony, good evening to you. Um, there you go. From which website, as I've just said. And Tony, you accused me of clickbaiting yesterday, mate. I maybe. Good evening, Kimbo. How are you? But I did say, Tony, you tell me a channel that doesn't clickbait. You know. Um, Robert, still, we would all tune in anyway. Well, thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Chris Biggs, how are you? Good evening to you as well. We're massive. Declan deserves a rest. He's had his bloody rest. He's had 2 weeks off with the internationals. If he's fit in December, the team should be fine. Mate, he better be fit on Saturday. I'll tell you that. Pete Gads, hello, mate. I read on a website this morning that Declan was good to go for Saturday. Not sure how reliable Claret and Hugh are, though. Hey, got to take everything with a pinch of salt, mate. Adam. Got to go to work. Got to miss the show. Hopefully you'll watch it later, Adam. But thank you for tuning in, mate. Daniela, how are you? The Athletic is a clickbait top six loving site. It's full of bullshit. It was the Athletic that keep Rice from Man U story going on. There you go. And there's your answer. So next time I read that it comes from the Athletic, I'll clickbait it again. Howard, good evening to you. I hope you're well. Good evening, Billy Bob. How are you, mate? Good evening, Clive. How are you? I think Kral may get the nod, don't you think? Well, let's speculate. If Declan was out, if Souček was out, who would play? I kind of think I'd like to see Kral, but I kind of think he'll put Noble in. Hammerhead, are you seriously questioning if Noble can play against Wolves? The simple answer is no. Shouldn't even play at this season. He's only here because of no fans last season. I'm questioning it because it's not me that would choose it. It's what Moyes would do. And I actually think that Moyes would play him. If he did have to find a replacement for Declan or for even Souček, I think Noble would get the nod. I'm not saying that would be correct, but I think that's what Moyes would do. Hammerhead, again, can only play Noble or bring him on when we are winning a game comfortably. Never should he start. I'm not disagreeing with you. I actually, with the greatest of respect, I actually do agree with you, mate. But what would Moyes do? But I did ask you guys what you would do as well, so you gave me your opinion. Thank you, Steve. I personally think this convo is a waste of time. I reckon Declan is fine. Well, I hope I've qualified why I put it up. So please don't shoot the messenger. Vinay, Kral is a better option than Noble. I'm no ageist, but Noble is not the right option. Gaza, we know Noble is slow, but he was missing legs around him who could do his running. So does he have the legs now? Souček was there last season. Let's scroll down. Stevie, hello mate, how are you? Would be interesting to see how we would cope without Rice in the league for this season. Well, very interesting. I mean, like I said for last season, we missed him for 6 games, and of those 6 games, we won 3, we drew 3. And of those two that we won 3 and we lost 3, and of those 2 games that we lost, we had players sent off. So would be interesting though. Hammerhead, Budgie, is Peach okay? I've heard Peach's is it a heart condition that he's got? Oh, some year ago, heart condition. I hope he's okay. So, Clive, I hope you do send him our regards, mate. Steve, no point like transfers, believing rumours when a player signs on a dotted line. He is a hammer. If Rise is out at 3 o'clock on Saturday, then he is believing the Athletic. There you go. There you go. I agree with you, Steve. I'm not backing this story. But it was an interesting one to go. Oh, come on, where have you got that from? And like I said, it gave me an opportunity to say, if a player like Declan is out, who would you replace him with? Daniela, I would like to see Kral anyway. Let's rest Declan. No, if Declan's available, we don't rest him. With City and Chelsea soon, the Arsenal Spurs Christmas week, going to just about every game that in December. Daniela, Mrs. ain't going to be happy. I still haven't told her that I'm going to 9 games in December. Steve, still, that's what the Athletic wants people to ask them. Well, yeah, fair play, fair play. Now that's clickbait, not me. Howard, we have a good enough squad to beat Wolves. I like that. Well done. Stevie, I'm okay with Rice being out as long as he's back for the City game. Benai, UFO Weekly also reports Rice is sick, so it must be true. P. Gads, Wolves would be tough. Only one loss and one draw in the last six. It ain't going to be an easy game. Steve, Dawson for me, better at set pieces than Diop. Plus, at times, Diop makes me nervous, always a mistake in him. I'll ask you a question. Don't you think Diop has had a mistake in him, especially at the tail end of last season as well? So I'm not so. I think Moyes will be Dawson. But wouldn't you like to see what Diop will be like alongside Zuma? People are calling for the French triangle. I don't know, too much to sort of dilly dally with for the Wolves game, I guess. But there are no easy games, so you got to do it sooner or later. Clive Hammerhead, I haven't had a chance to speak to him today, but he's mobile now with OxyPack will update. Thank you for the update there, mate. Wish him well. Steve, you cannot drop Johnson. Don't change your winning team. Let Soufal play against Vienna. Good shout. I agree with that. Kevin, Stell is hoping to get his West Ham call up. He was promised in his dreams. Never. The only call up I've ever had is to pick up my West Ham mug. But thank you for that, Kevin. Fred, hello, mate. I Stell and everyone. I say give Kral a pop. Yeah. God, play sooner or later, isn't he? Funky T, good evening to you. Noble is the natural replacement for Rice. Dawson will be replacement for Ogbonna. I'm confident in all our squad players. Great shout. Gaza. Yeah. Ben Johnson, been excellent. Absolutely agree. Good evening, Martin. The Athletic is a very well, there you go. So now some people are saying it's a clickbait source, and Martin is saying it's a very creditable source. Unless you're saying that tongue in cheek, Martin. I don't know. Stop clickbaiting. Ain't me. Ain't me. Matt, hello, mate. I reckon he starts Noble. Bring on Kral if we're 2 up by 60 minutes. Good shout. Steve, Martin, leave it out. They are as bad as Sky 2 Bob Channel. Steve, let's not create a frenzy over Rice until it's confirmed. No, I agree. Yeah, and I'm not creating a frenzy. Please don't get me wrong. Anthony, good evening to you. There is nothing about Rice illness on the Athletic app. Well, then it's the West Ham zone. I mean, can I show you? I'll tell you what I'm going to do to prove to you that I'm not, just not made it up. So let's go to the West Ham zone. Let's scroll down there. Right. Okay. Let me see if I can show you that. Share my screen. Share screen. Windows. There you go. Share. Just can you see that? You can't, can you? No, you can't. So, now you can. There you go. West Ham ace Declan remains doubtful Wolves clash. www.westhamzone.com. And then it says Declan Rice is still a doubt for the West Ham Wolves game on Saturday, according to a report in The Athletic. So people don't shoot the messenger. Gaza, Dawson, Moyes loves experience. Fred, every time I think Noble is shot, he has a solid game but can't keep it going. Yeah, maybe once in a while. Yeah, but Hammerhead, I kind of agree with you. I love Noble, but I worry when he plays, especially from the start. Howard, Declan was seen at Canary Wharf drive-through Macy's. Daniela Martin Barrett, I think you'll find the Athletic is a bit of a storyteller and more fiction than fact. Gaza, Lingard talks collapse over new contracts. Yeah, that was a week ago. And then, of course, we upset his brother because he thinks West Ham fans don't want him back. Listen, I'd take him back like a shot. Wouldn't even think twice about it. We need cover. We talk about cover for Antonio. What better player than Lingard to come on and play as a false number 9? I'd have him back like a shot. Steve, still for Prime Minister, and we all get pay rises. Fucking right. I'd put the minimum wage up to what, £20, £20 an hour. Steve, Kral won't play. His dad, Leo Sayer, has just gone on tour, and he is his dad's number 1 roadie. WHU, I reckon Declan has a heavy man cold. I hope he doesn't play against Wolves so we can have him fit in a few weeks' time. Good time to give Kral a run. Thank you very much, Hammerhead. Black Country, good evening to you. What a load of bollocks. He's 22 years old and he's fit. He's had a cold, simple as. Daniela, Steve, go on the Man U YouTube sites. They love the Athletic because the Athletic loves them. Spencer, good evening to you. I reckon Stella's drinking Stella out of that Hammers mug, thinking Noble will play ahead of Lanzini and Kral. No, it's not that I think he will. I think that's what Moyes would do. I mean, for me, I want to give Kral a chance, but no. And trust me, it's tea. Declan Rice, it's an X file. West Ham 94, good evening to you. Do you think Areola will start? No, I don't. I think it looks like Fabianski's role as Premier League keeper is. I just really thought right at the start of the season that Areola would be the Premier League keeper, but it doesn't look that to be that way. WHU, I wonder if Declan has tested COVID positive. Perhaps Moyes is keeping him in isolation. No one thought of that, did they? WHU. Interesting point. Um, Wacko Gov, good evening to you. With Oggy out, do you reckon Baptiste will get a place on the bench? Yes, I absolutely 100% do, mate. And I've talked about Baptiste quite a lot. If you watch my shows, I keep banging on about this young player and what a great talent he is. And I also said that David Moyes has said specifically that he wants Baptiste around the first team squad as often as he possibly can. What a great opportunity between now and the opening of the transfer window for this young lad to demonstrate what he's capable of. He may not get game time. And if he does, he may not get a lot of game time, but his attitude and his aptitude and his training and what he's showing in training, etc., that Moyes is going to notice. And I think this young lad has got a fantastic opportunity to turn around to David Moyes and go, you don't need him go in the transfer market for another centre back. I'll be your fourth choice. And he knows he'll be fourth choice. The lad's 17 years of age, and he knows that if he's in that squad and he might get an opportunity to be called in last 5 minutes of a game or something, or maybe once we get the 3 points we need against Vienna, he might even start against Zagreb. What a great opportunity. And he's a brilliant young talent. There's another one, Ajibola Alese, who's the captain of the under-23 team as well. But I think by the looks of it, the way things are going, it's Baptiste that keeps getting called into the West Ham squad, the senior squad. And I think you're absolutely right, mate. I think he might get a good chance of being on the bench at the weekend. Marcus, good evening to you. Rice should start if available. If not, would like to see Kral start and Noble on the bench and Dawson in for Ogbonna. Daniela, still 9 games. That's expensive. It sure is. You'd be getting expensive gifts. You'd be getting the wife. I recommend a weekend spa for one. Yeah, I don't think that's going to do it. Who's going on Saturday? See you there. Like I said, if you see me wandering around looking lost, just tap my shoulder and say, I'm so and so. I think you're shit on the YouTube, and hello anyway. I'm rating that Purple Hammer's top. What season was that? It's last season, that mate. Last season. And guess what? No logo, no Betway logo on it either. I think I was lucky enough to pick it up from I think it's one of the last few left from last season when they do a sale. Gaza, the fans bring their Czech flags on Saturday. Brilliant. I hope they do. Stell's on acid tonight. If I don't go off and go and meet the missus soon, I'll have. Well, anyway, let's not go into that. Pete, I won't be believing anything until it's said from Moyes. That will probably be an hour before the game. Yeah, I agree with you, Pete. Pete Gads Noble is still solid. Maybe doesn't have the pace, but can for sure wreck someone with an extremely late tackle and then get sent off. Dino, is there any news yet on Oggy? I'm afraid not. Completely shut down on that, mate. And we are desperately trying to find out, but there's been no news at all, I'm afraid. Steve Stella's Baptiste agent. I wish I bloody well. I wish I bloody well was. Trevor, put your car in the middle. Put my car in the middle of where, mate? P-Gads. Stella doesn't seem the acid type. Limoncello and cocaine, mate. Well, in my days, mate, in the rave scene, things were very different back then. Shows how bloody old I am. Gaza, and cover for Ben Rama still as he goes off. Don't worry about that. Oh, you're talking about Lingard. Yeah, we know. Stuart, good evening to you. 3-2 to West Ham in last season's fixture. So done 3-1 irons on Super 6. Good shout, mate. I hope you win it. Steve. So predictions, people. I'm going for 3-1. Why don't you join me, by the way, on what day is it today? Thursday. Why don't you join me at 9 o'clock tomorrow for the preview? Because we've got a special. Well, got two. Well, we've got two special guests on. An ex-player and a supporter from Wolves, and then we'll do predictions there as well. Good evening, Pete. I hope you're well. Daniela, season ticket at a spa. Yeah, right. 2-1 to West Ham. Bowen 2 goals. DJR, Kral playing so for national team. Rather seen Lanzini if Rice is out. 3-0. Stell up the acid, and that's it. Thank you all. Thank you for joining me on the Clickbait Weekly. But no, like I said, it was just an interesting story, and I thought I'd take an angle on it in order for to say, if someone like Declan was out, who would you rather go for? Lanzini, Noble, Krull, etc. And it all seems rather split. Some for Noble, some for Lanzini, and some for Krull. Thank you all for joining me, Steve. It's okay. Still, 9 o'clock tomorrow means 9:30. I've got guests, so I've got no choice, but I've got to be there on time. Still got his top of the back of a lorry. Give the thumbs up. Yeah, do that, please. Do please give the thumbs up. It helps the channel and all that sort of stuff. Give Lanzini a run from West Ham 94, then bring on Oral. Bring on Oral. Bring on Krull. Thank you all for joining. Much appreciated. Have a great evening, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Russ will do another what do you call it show, a lunchtime show. I'll be doing the preview at 9 o'clock tomorrow night. No late because I'll be traveling early to Wolves on Saturday. Thank you all. Have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.